Twice I've gone to the committee, and once in January it was an illegal meeting, it wasn't properly noticed. And I asked if the ballpark committee would please set a meeting schedule, notice it, so that the community could come. I think if you're gonna build, whether you're building a Carolyn Allen Park or ball fields, we really don't know. And phase 3, the cost, Michael's already said, that's a big mystery. But I think you should do something to encourage participation in town and all of the parent groups. And the best way to do that would be set a meeting schedule and publish it well in advance, not just on the bulletin board at the last minute, and make sure that the quorum is going to be there. If they can't be there, then tell them they could resign. But I was told at the last meeting, they're too busy to set a meeting schedule. And what I have found with committees, when you don't have a meeting schedule, you'll end up with 30 emails trying to set a meeting schedule, which isn't productive. And I think we need to take a better look at Michael's time, because there's things obviously not done. He's busy, but clearly time management might be an issue. Michael said tonight there's no need for quorum approval to do business. So, once again, we got all these individuals making town decisions. And you know, with the Parks Committee, you're talking about millions of dollars. I want to know what I can do to be that one-stop shopper, Michael. I want to be able to stop in your office and say, I want $1 million for this, or I alone have decided this without a quorum, without a committee backing. And just let all those individuals make all these decisions. And somehow Mr. Hill is just fine with it. And I just think you need to, go back to the beginning and figure out how you're going to take things. But you should be able to discuss them as a whole, and you should be able to, everyone should have equal opportunity and equal access to information.
Glad you're so interested about families.
No, it's a policy. It's not your family, it's a policy that you have.
With the debate over the property tax, I've heard talk about how things were hard on citizens of Summerfield and how families could use the money for other necessities. I would just like to thank the council, past and present, staff, and Parks and Recs Committee for the wonderful park you envisioned and built. Without the funding from the council and support from the staff and the hard work that the Parks and Recs Committee has done, the town would not be enjoying the park that will be enjoyed for generations to come. A couple of weeks ago, I went running in the park with my dog. The first thing I passed was the wonderful gate that we now have hanging. How could I not have a good run? It was a beautiful day with this great art hanging on the gate. I was marveling at how great the park looked with the new exercise equipment and the amphitheater. And as I was running by the fishing pier, a small child, and I think his grandfather, came up from fishing. I asked the small child if he had fun fishing, and he said he sure did, but he didn't catch anything. He tried real hard, but those were some smart fish that were in that lake. I wish I'd had a camera, because the sheer joy on that little boy's face was wonderful, and you could just see the pride the grandfather had. And as I ran on, I could hear the child just chatting away about all the ones that got away. As I rounded the corner, I ran into a lady who was using the exercise equipment. She didn't have to drive into town and spend her money on a gym. She could work outside on this beautiful day and keep herself healthy. And as I went over the covered bridge, I saw a family going to the fishing pier. The father and son were going fishing, and the mom was going to relax in the shade and read a book. An economical way to spend time with the family. With these few examples, on one day, the park was meeting several needs. It was meeting the need of the cheap, fun entertainment. It was meeting the need of saving gas, because no one had to drive into Greensboro to use a park or a gym. And of course, by creating this park, the town is protecting wildlife, enhancing wetlands, and improving our environment. This was one day, early in the morning, for about 45 minutes, that I observed all this happening. It certainly wasn't the sheer numbers, the touch a truck brawl, or the fishing tournament, which were wonderful community events. Why do I mention this? Because the town needs to continue to support the park and the new athletic park being built. These are hard times right now, and the people of Summerfield deserve a place they can go and enjoy with their families or by themselves that is close to home and doesn't cost a lot of money. The council now needs to take the next step and help the Parks and Rec Committee fund other activities in the park, such as theater in the park, movies in the park, and pops in the park, so that the town can continue to support its citizens in these hard economic times. Families will have a way to spend time together without having to drive into Greensboro. And the theater and the park may even develop our next Broadway star. The park has already shown its benefits, that it benefits the citizens, and the Parks and Recs Committee has already shown what a great job they can do. So let's see support from the council so that the committee can continue to enlighten and enrich the lives of citizens and to work towards the preservation of the environment by providing quality parks, facilities, and services designed for people of all ages and abilities. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, do we have other speakers?
Dwayne Crawford, 1106 NC Highway 150 West. Council, I'm here to talk about ball fields, athletic park, if you will. First, the ball fields were for the SRA, then the ball fields weren't for the SRA. Ball fields for no one. Millions of dollars have been spent on ball fields for no one. No contract, no agreement, nothing suggested about who might be using those. On that night that we spent millions of dollars on ball fields for no one, we had a gentleman who was a former SRA president, I can't remember his name, he said, just hold for 1 month, just hold for 1 month. He said, I'm talking to the folks over at the New Northern Middle School, there's ball fields, maybe we can use them. Council did not. All voted to spend $1 million plus that night for this property. Copeland that night, Jay Copeland, President of SRA, Jay Copeland said, yes, the northern ball field is too far. Can't use those. Well, I've done some talking, some investigating, and I found out that the SRA right now, at this moment, may very well at this moment be using those ball fields. There's been an agreement in place for a very, very long time. I talked to, you can find his name here, Brian Moore, assistant principal over at Northern Middle, said the SRA agreement's been there quite some time. They are very responsible in helping maintain the ball field. That's part of the agreement. And it's a very good working relationship. These fields are used by the SRA many times per week. Going back to the Northwest Observer Forum, former SRA president said the town approached the SRA for these ball fields, not the SRA asking the town for them. That was on 2nd of August, 2006. Another thing Mr. Copeland said on the 8th of August, 2006, he said the SRA does have the means of maintaining these fields and running the organization, but they don't have the means to buy the fields. SRA is doing just that. They have found fields to use. They are helping maintain them. And we're getting ready tonight to possibly spend a lot more money for ball fields that may not be necessary to spend. They may have already solved this problem. But then we're not building these ball fields for anyone. Our last council meeting, Mr. Ray, you said we needed to build these ball fields in a hurry because the girls' field is about to be taken at Summerfield Elementary. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. Are the ball fields for the SRA stealthily, or they're not? It appears that they are. One last thing I would like to say to our council, we've been told by a previous attorney that the town council could not go to the citizens for advisory decisions on referendums. I talked to Mr. Tom Ramaki, Deputy Treasurer, State and Local Finance Division, asked him about this point blank. He said, referendum use as an advisory tool is acceptable and has at times even been mandated by the Local Government Commission. The city of Spring Lake, for example, they wanted to raise a 10-cent tax to build an athletic complex. The Local Government Commission said, no, we don't know if you have the support. So they up for a referendum. Don't know the result of that. It didn't ask if it wasn't important. Where I want to go with all this is, we're getting ready to spend a whole bunch of money for a problem that may already be solved. And this problem, at best, had 50 people attend an open house. I think we need to put this up for a referendum if we're going to spend millions of dollars like it looks like we're going to do, which we can do. And we can ask Mr. Tom Ramaki again if he'll stand behind that. I think he will. Local Government Commission. And my last point I have lost, so I'll just cut it off right there. Let's put this up for referendum. Oh, last point. If we're going to spend millions of dollars, put them in the ball fields at Northern. Get a whole lot more use. We'll get a lot more bang for our buck. And it's not too far to drive. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Okay, we'll go to committee reports.